Hello dear subscribers. Today I will tell you the story of Moby-Dick, written by the great Herman Melville, a story of the sea, obsession, and the eternal struggle between man and nature. Let's begin. Chapter 1, Call Me Ishmael. Call Me Ishmael. With these three words begins one of the greatest journeys in world literature. Ishmael, a wandering sailor with a restless heart, grows tired of life on land. The earth feels too narrow, too crowded with meaningless noise. He longs for freedom, for the wild, untamed sea. So one cold December morning, he travels to the seaport of New Bedford, where he plans to join a whaling ship bound for the far oceans. There, in a roughing called the Spooterin, he meets a tattooed harpooner named Queequeg, a man from a distant island, strong and silent, who worships strange gods and smokes from a blackened pipe. Though their worlds could not be more different, Ishmael and Queequeg become close friends, brothers of the sea. Together, they sign up for a voyage aboard a ship called the Pequod, commanded by the mysterious and legendary Captain Ahab. Chapter 2, The Ship and Its Crew. The Pequod is no ordinary ship. It is a floating universe, a small world of men from every nation, gathered under the same sails, bound by the same danger. There is Starbuck, the first mate, a man of faith and reason, brave, calm, and deeply moral. There is Stubb, the second mate, always laughing even in the face of death. And Flask, the third mate, small but fierce, who fears no whale. And then there is Captain Ahab, unseen for days after the ship leaves harbor. The sailors whisper about him in fear. Some say he lost his leg to a monstrous white whale named Moby-Dick. Others say he has sworn vengeance upon it, a vengeance that burns hotter than the fires of hell. When Ahab finally appears on deck, the men are silent. He is tall, with gray hair and a face carved by storms. His left leg is a polished bone from a whale's jaw. He strikes the deck with his ivory limb and cries, "Whosoever of ye raises me a white-headed whale with a wrinkled brow and a crooked jaw, whosoever of ye raises me that white whale, Moby-Dick, he shall have this gold ounce." And he nails a shining coin to the mast. The crew roars with excitement. Only Starbuck stands still. He sees in Ahab's eyes not courage, but madness. Chapter 3, The Journey Begins. The Pequod sails out into the open sea, a tiny wooden ark adrift on the endless blue. At first, life aboard seems simple, hunting whales, cutting blubber, boiling oil. The ocean is both beautiful and terrifying, sometimes calm as glass, sometimes roaring with tempests. But beneath every wave lies Ahab's obsession. He cannot rest, he cannot sleep, he dreams only of the white whale. His revenge is his god. He walks the deck at night, whispering to himself, "From hell's heart, I stab at thee." His face glows with a wild light, and even the boldest sailors tremble. One evening, Ishmael hears a strange knocking sound deep below deck. He discovers that Ahab has secretly brought aboard a hidden crew, dark, silent men led by a harpooner named Fedallah, whose eyes seem to burn with prophecy. They are bound to Ahab's private quest, not to hunt whales for oil, but to hunt Moby-Dick for vengeance. Chapter 4, Encounters at Sea. Days turn into months. The Pequod crosses oceans, the Atlantic, the Indian, the Pacific. They meet other whaling ships, each with its own story. Some bring news of Moby-Dick, a vast, ghostly whale seen breaching the waters, unstoppable, like fate itself. Others bring warnings, beware the white whale, Captain Ahab. He destroys all who follow him. But Ahab does not listen. His soul burns too fiercely. He turns every meeting into a question, "Hast thou seen the white whale?" And when they say no, he curses the wind and orders the ship onward. Starbuck begins to fear not the whale, but the man. He prays for the crew and for Ahab's soul, but Ahab is deaf to reason. He looks to the horizon as if he sees something invisible, something calling him home. Chapter 5, The Nature of the Sea. While Ahab rages, Ishmael reflects. He watches the endless waves, the silent stars above, and the creatures of the deep, whales gliding like ancient gods beneath the surface. He sees that the sea is both life and death, creation and destruction. In one of the calmest nights, Ishmael and Queequeg sit together, their backs against the mast. Ishmael says softly, "Perhaps we are all chasing our own white whales, our fears, our dreams, our ghosts." Queequeg nods and says, "The sea is the same everywhere. It takes what it wants." Their friendship becomes a quiet light amid the darkness. But storms are gathering. The ocean is changing color, darker, colder, like a mirror of Ahab's soul. Chapter 6. The Whales. At last, the Pequod sights its first pod of whales. The men leap to their posts. Boats are lowered. The sea boils with movement. Ishmael feels both terror and awe as the great creatures rise from the deep, spouting towers of silver water into the air. The harpooners strike. The boats spin. Ropes tighten, and blood dyes the waves red. The hunt is brutal, yet strangely beautiful, a dance of life and death between man and nature. Queequeg proves himself fearless, his harpoon true, but after each kill, he whispers a prayer for the fallen whale. Ishmael begins to see what Ahab cannot, that these creatures are not enemies, but mirrors, reflecting the mystery of existence itself. Chapter 7. The Storm. One night, lightning splits the sky. The masts blaze with St. Elmo's fire, blue flames dancing like spirits. The sailors fall to their knees, praying, but Ahab stands tall, his face glowing with the storm's fire. He lifts his harpoon and cries to the heavens, "Strike me, O God, but let me strike the whale." The men fear he is possessed. Starbuck whispers, "This madness will be our doom." But no one dares defy him. Ahab is both master and prisoner, chained to his obsession, dragged forward by destiny. When the storm passes, the ship is scarred but still afloat. The men are silent, knowing that fate is closing in. Chapter 8. The White Whale. Finally, after months of searching, the cry is heard. Thus she blows, a white whale, to the lee. Moby-Dick rises from the deep like a mountain of living ivory. His body is covered in scars, his jaw twisted, his back torn by harpoons from 100 ships. He is both beast and God, nature's wrath made flesh. Ahab's eyes blaze with triumph and madness. At last, he shouts. The boats are lowered. The sea roars. The hunt begins. The first day, the whale destroys one of the boats with a flick of its tail. The second day, he smashes another, his body cutting through the water like thunder. Still Ahab will not stop. Bloodied and broken, he orders the men to pursue again. Starbuck begs him, "Captain, for the love of God, turn back." But Ahab replies, "Talk not to me of blasphemy. Man, I'd strike the sun if it insulted me." Chapter 9. The Final Chase. On the third day, the ocean is silent. A great calm before the end. Ahab feels it too. Today, he whispers, "I shall see him face to face." When Moby-Dick appears again, he charges the ship itself. The Pequod shatters under the impact. Men scream. Ropes snap. The sea opens like a mouth. Ahab throws his final harpoon. From hell's heart, I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee. The rope catches his neck, and he is pulled down with the whale into the black depths. Moments later, the Pequod sinks, dragged to the bottom of the ocean. The waves close above it as if it had never existed. Chapter 10. The Solitary Survivor. Only one man survives, Ishmael. He clings to Queequeg's coffin, which the islander had carved for himself during a fever and later turned into a life buoy. The coffin floats upon the wide sea, life born from the shadow of death. For 2 days, Ishmael drifts alone, until a passing ship, the Rachel, finds him. When he is pulled aboard, he is silent. He looks back at the endless horizon, where somewhere, deep beneath, Ahab and Moby-Dick still battle, man and nature locked in eternal struggle. Chapter 11. The Meaning of the Hunt. Moby-Dick is more than a tale of the sea. It is the story of human obsession, how our search for meaning can destroy us if we cannot let go. Ahab's whale is not just a creature, it is fate. It is God. It is the part of the universe that refuses to be conquered. Ishmael survives because he accepts the mystery. He learns that the sea cannot be mastered, only respected. He learns that every soul must face its own white whale, the thing that haunts and defines it. And in the end, he returns to tell the tale, not as a hero, but as a witness to the madness and majesty of existence. Thank you for listening carefully, my dear friends. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, goodbye.